After arguably the most action-packed weekend in recent NFL memory, we have surprising contenders popping up around the league. I'm joined by NFL experts Blake Snetman and Anthony Chatman as we'll look at the AFC and NFC hottest teams. So Anthony, we're 5 weeks in. The Chiefs are the only undefeated team left in the league, not even just the AFC. Are they the best AFC team?
Right now, they are the best AFC team just because they are 5-0. But everything that rises must eventually fall. And so
There's no way they're falling. There's no team in the AFC that can possibly challenge them. The Patriots, 3-2, were supposed to be undefeated, the best Patriots team ever. They're tied for first place with the Jets and the Bills.
But look, the Patriots, even though they are struggling, they're the Patriots, and Tom Brady is Tom Brady. He's going to win regardless.
All you have is Tom Brady.
Super Bowl.
That's not true. That's absolutely not true. I understand your point where you say Tom Brady is a winner. Absolutely. Yes. I witnessed that in the Super Bowl where they beat the Falcons. However, they don't have a defense. They don't have any offense. They're relying on a receiver named Chris Hogan.
The Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos are killing it defensively.
But who's their quarterback? Yeah, exactly. Nobody knows who their quarterback is. They don't have any of that.
But defense wins games.
You know, Kansas City, there's no other contender really. Can you name any team that can actually match them on the offensive level and the defensive level? Because that offense is clicking and that defense is too, and there's no team that's really challenged them thus far.
Well, now moving to the NFC, the Panthers have had 2 upsets in a row, and now they sit at 4-1. Blake, are they the top NFC contenders?
Absolutely not. They're not. So they had a good start to the season. However, the games they play, their last 3 games include Green Bay and the Atlanta Falcons, and they are at home for them, which is nice. But
their last 2 games include the Patriots and the Lions.
Well, the Patriots, they're not the Patriots anymore. They're a whole different team. They're 3-2.
But even in that game, you see sparks of an offense that is reminiscent of the 2015-2016 team that made it to the Super Bowl. We're only a year removed from that. Last year, that was a fluke.
So
this year, they're back on their grind.
Explain to me why New Orleans blew them out at home by more than a double-digit margin. And their defense is awful.
It was early game flutters. I mean, I'll admit, in the first 3 games, they were struggling. But these past 2 games against teams that are actually pretty good, especially the Lions who have a really good defense, you have to think, these Panthers are really in for something.
So you're telling me they're a contender if they're losing a game that bad against the New Orleans Saints.
If they're winning games against teams that are good, they're also a contender.
Well, I never thought the Patriots were good.
All right, but the Patriots are the Patriots. You can't always count the Patriots.
Well, back to the NFC, Blake. Who would you pick then as your top team in the NFC right now?
My personal top team is probably the Atlanta Falcons. They've had a lot of injuries lately. That's really hurt them. They lost Vic Beasley this past game. 2 weeks ago, they were on their bye week this past week. Mohamed Sanu, Julio Jones went out, their top 2 receivers. They had a chance to win it, but it came down to receiving, and they didn't have their guys there.
Well, so far the NFL season has been full of surprises, but Anthony, who do you think has been the most shocking team in the NFL so far?
As a Illinois native, it pains me to say this, but the Packers, for me, have been the most surprising team. And here's why. Every game, basically, they played with a different O-line. They've had tons of injuries, but it hasn't set them back. Right now, they're 4-1, regardless of all these injuries. And amongst those injuries, players are playing positions they have never played before. So when you take that into account, it's pretty shocking.
I see what you mean there, but they are the Packers, and everyone did expect them with their core guys, Aaron Rodgers, Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb, Devontae Adams. I can keep going. But they have a lot of core guys, and I didn't really see any difference in them. What I did see a difference this year was the whole state of New York. The New York Jets and the New York Giants in MetLife Stadium, the records, no one really thought what they would be. They thought the Giants would be the winning team, and they thought that the Jets would be the worst team in NFL history.
Some people rather even saying that they're just going to tank and go 0-16 for that matter.
I know. I think the Giants personally might go that route because they just lost Odell. They just lost Brandon Marshall, they were supposed to have the best receiving core in the league this year. So from all that hype to this, that's a lot of issues on their part.
I mean, you can't really put all that on them. Injuries, you can't really account for injuries.
Even when they didn't have injuries, they were still 0-5. They just lost their guys in the last game, 0-4. So there you go. And then the Jets this year, they won against opponents like Cleveland, which isn't really they haven't won a game this year. However, they still have proved on their defensive side of the ball that they're actually a decent team. Even their receivers, they've had receivers step up, like their wide receiver, Jermaine Kirsch. He came from Seattle on a trade, leading in receiving yards. It's impressive.
Well, that's been an exciting NFL season so far, but that is all from us here at One on One. Make sure to check us out on all of our social media platforms. From all of us here at the studio, whose side are you on?